Students walked out of class for a march in a protest with just a week left in the semester. And speaking of walking out,
former employees dished the tea on why they left a popular local restaurant.
How do you study for finals? Organize your books, notes, and caffeine.
And the biggest street party in San Antonio is back, but there are some important changes this year. Hi, and thanks for joining us for this edition of Bobcat Update. I'm Mia Salazar.
And I'm Elizabeth Hernandez. Dozens of students joined university staff Friday for a march and a protest, and it wasn't just one issue this time.
They were upset about immigration enforcement, a push for a new voter ID law, and what they say is a lack of free speech on campus. Jabari Ross and I covered the march.
In San Marcos, community members and Texas State University student organizations came together for a student-led protest demanding justice and the protection of free expression across universities. The march began at the Stallions and made its way through downtown, ending at the Hays County Courthouse, where protesters gathered to make their voices heard.
Move Texas has done a lot of different collaborations, joint meetings, joint socials, joint voter drives with a bunch of these different organizations out here. And so because of that, whenever we asked, hey, do you guys want to come out and march with us? All of them answered the call because they're all great people. We've got like 7 different Texas State orgs out here and 3 non-Texas State affiliated community orgs out here as well. Local politicians are aware and are rooting for us, and some may be out there today. Yeah, people care. People care.
Organizers say the strong turnout reflects growing collaboration between student groups and the wider Central Texas community. As the march moved through the square, several local businesses stepped in to support the protesters, handing out cold water to help protesters stay safe in this Texas heat. Supporters say these small acts highlight how the community continues to rally behind student voices and the call for change.
I union organized because Texas State as a university built its names off the back of its workers, off the students paying their bills, off of our labor, our success and our achievement. And because of that, you have a right to reclaim it. And to do so, that means sharpening all of that labor that you guys have and all of that collective power you have into specific demands and forming like real organizations to make the changes you want. It can be as small as doing things like creating community organizations, trying to create like a peer support group that always builds towards that always can build towards more, because we're all affected by these issues right now.
No counter-protesters were reported at this event, and organizers say that the protests remained peaceful throughout. This is Mia Salazar with the Bobcat Update.
We've been telling you about the back and forth in Texas over smokable hemp. Lawmakers made it illegal, but a judge reversed that. It might not matter anymore after a change in federal law. The U.S. Attorney General just changed some marijuana from a Schedule 1 to a Schedule 3 drug classification. Schedule 1 lists the most serious drugs like heroin and fentanyl. Marijuana was on that list for years. Now legal pot products will be Schedule 3 drugs. That list includes ketamine and testosterone. Here's the catch. It's not all pot. Only pot that's legally sold by the government, like at a state dispensary.
A popular sandwich shop right across the street from the university got a little slice and dice on social media recently.
Yeah, some former employees dished on how they weren't happy with the work environment. That led to some big changes. Alvin Ord announced new management a couple weeks ago. Gracie Fabella and Natalie Muñoz have the tea.
If you're missing Alvin Ord's, you might not be missing it for much longer.
Alvin Ord's sandwich shop, located in San Marcos, is now under new leadership. The sandwich shop temporarily closed its doors after their staff walked out due to a hostile working environment. The staff claims that Bill and Steve Martin allowed this behavior. Staff took to social media to express their frustrations with Alvin Ord's and their leadership, posting on the Alvin Ord's Instagram page. Now that Bill and Steve Martin have proven once and for all that they don't have a single shred of respect for any of their employees or even their customers, it might never run again. The account has also posted the recipe for both the bread and the salvation sandwich. It is rumored that the leadership position is staying in the Martin family, with their niece becoming the new manager. As of now, there is no confirmed date when they are set to reopen their doors, according to Alvin Ord's Facebook. We have reached out to both Alvin Ord's and the staff for comments. This is Graciela Fabella for Bobcat Update.
You're ready for finals week, right? You have your books organized, your notes laid out, and a fridge full of energy drinks? Research shows about half of us increase our caffeine intake around exams. Before you grow wings, you should know that it's not a good idea to choose between studying and sleep. Haley and Thompson and I talked with some students about it.
Finals week is here, and so is the caffeine rush. Students are turning to caffeinated drinks and coffee during finals week more than ever. I know I am.
probably over the course of a week between 300 and 400 milligrams.
800 milligrams, probably, maybe 1,200, but I don't know if that's a bad thing.
I'm gonna guess. Unfortunately, right now, I think it's like 1,200 milligrams a week.
According to a study in 2025 from the Grand Canyon University, an average of 95% of students consume caffeine, spending over $20 per week.
Most of the time, coffee, but like certain days, like if I haven't gone to the gym and taken pre-workout, then I'll usually drink an energy drink because it has a little bit more.
Starbucks drinks, and then I also do teas.
Honestly, these days I drink a lot of the Reigns. It's kind of usually though just whatever. It's energy drinks, and usually whatever's like on sale at the gas station by my apartment.
During final season, I would typically have maybe a coffee and a Red Bull while I'm trying to pull an all-nighter.
Grand Canyon University also reports that 47% of students drink coffee and 25% consume energy drinks for caffeine. While it does have its perks, some students have growing concerns about its side effects.
Coffee or matcha. But I stopped drinking matcha because it blocks 50% of your iron intake, so I have to be careful with that.
And some people will get a large and then they'll get like 2 extra shots, which is definitely a little crazy.
Honestly, I try not to drink too much. Sometimes it'll make my head hurt.
But I mean, yeah, like I have like tremors, basically, like I'm shaking all the time.
This is Haley Thompson for Bobcat Update, reminding you to recharge responsibly.
We've had several big national news stories this week, including a high-profile shooting and a tornado. Reporter Mia Salazar is in the newsroom with these stories.
Thanks, Liz. Let's start with the biggest story. A man with 2 guns tried to rush into the White House Correspondents Dinner Saturday. The dinner happens every year and presidents traditionally attend, but this was the first time President Trump was there. The FBI says 31-year-old Cole Thomas Allen raced past a checkpoint and was stopped by security outside the ballroom. Shots were fired, but it isn't clear who fired, and no one was seriously hurt. President Trump and members of his cabinet were evacuated by Secret Service agents. The suspect is now charged with trying to assassinate the president. President Trump posted an early morning social media warning that Iran doesn't have a leader and that the country better get smart soon. That led to oil prices climbing to $110 a barrel and the highest gas prices of the year this week. There are no official negotiations underway and not many ships are passing through the Strait of Hormuz. Closer to home, a tornado swept through Mineral Wells, Texas, west of Fort Worth. Fortunately, no lives were lost, but there was a lot of damages to homes, businesses, and cars. Hail the size of baseballs also fell. One driver captured hail smashing his windshield in a very scary moment. Dallas TV reported 5 different tornadoes in the area Tuesday. That hail was unbelievable.
Yeah, that was scary. Rain, not storms, disrupted another part of Texas, San Antonio's Fiesta.
Above every holiday, like I can't wait for Fiesta every year.
But there are some changes that might dampen the excitement a bit this year.
You may not have noticed, but our TV crew made history this week. We'll give you an inside baseball look at a first ever broadcast. And a bit later,
so I reached out to her fashion designer and friend, Martin Gomez.
In the fashion that grew out of a collaboration between the designer and the singer, you can see it right here on campus.
Prescription drug pricing points to corporate
Freedom of the press is about your right to know. It's about your right to be informed. Today, there are real threats to press freedom and your right to know about the world around us. We must protect our right to know, no matter what kind of news is important to you. Before it's too late, understand the threats. ProtectPressFreedom.org.
Rough weather near the California Capitol this week led to the wild scene. It's in Elk Grove near Sacramento. A balloon pilot was getting ready for a flight, but not yet ready to launch. The wind had other ideas. It tore the balloon from the ground and slung it into the casino and a power line. The balloon was dragged past the building and into a field where it collapsed. The pilot's fine. The balloon may need some help. Mia, let me ask you something. Do you ever go to Fiesta in San Antonio?
Yeah, I went for my first time like 2 years ago. It was a lot of fun, but I like the food a little more. But I do know that there are a lot of regulars who never miss it. But they'll notice some differences this year. Reporters Rachel Perez and Gisela Morones take us along.
Fiesta San Antonio 2026 is back, colorful, loud, and full of energy.
More than 2.5 million people attend Fiesta every year, making this one of the biggest celebrations in San Antonio. With the increased amount of traffic also comes with the increased amount of safety measures.
This year, Fiesta attendees are expected to pay $5 during peak hours at one of the largest Fiesta events, Fiesta de los Reyes. Fiesta organizers say the fee helps cover security and rising costs, ensuring the city's biggest party can keep growing safely. Many Fiesta attendees are understanding of this new fee but are concerned with how the organization is handling it.
Because we entered for free, and when we were going to exit the restaurant after having dinner there, they made us pay to get in, even though we had already entered the Market Square for free.
Another Fiesta favorite, A Day in Old Mexico, brought tradition to center stage with folklorico dancers, charros, and escaramuzas performing for packed crowds. But not everything went according to plan. Heavy rain moved through San Antonio earlier this week, forcing some events to pause and others to cancel, such as the infamous River Parade. Over at St. Mary's University's Oyster Bake, the weather didn't stop thousands from lining up for fresh oysters, fajitas, and live music. Despite the showers and the new entry fee, Fiesta fans say nothing can dampen the spirit of San Antonio's biggest celebration.
Oh my God, it's my favorite holiday. I was born and raised here. This is above every holiday. I can't wait for Fiesta every year. It's my favorite.
But even with a few obstacles, Fiesta is still going strong, and the party will continue the only way San Antonio knows how, the Fiesta way. In San Antonio, I'm Rachel Perez reporting for Bobcat Update. Viva!
We showed you a few weeks ago that there's a Selena exhibit at the Wittliff Collections in the library. Last time, we focused on the photos of the Tejana singer, but this time, I asked an expert about her style.
Selena Quintanilla Perez was widely known for her music that brought people together across generations, but also cultures. But beyond the stage, Selena had a second passion, fashion. Now, Texas State University is highlighting that side of her legacy through a special exhibit featuring her iconic clothing designs and her fashion line, along with the man that helped bring her vision to life, designer Martin Gomez.
According to the San Marcos Daily Record, Gomez met Selena at Woolworth's coffee shop in Corpus Christi, Texas, and introduced himself as a fashion designer. From the organized box of beads to her infamous cap, her notebook, and two of her iconic outfits, the Wittliff Collection, along with Martin Gomez, share with us never-before-seen items of Selena's for us to see and enjoy. Hector Saldana, the interim director and Texas music curator, displayed a photograph of Selena that had never before been displayed at the Wittliff Collections, and many people had a positive reaction to the photo, which gave Selena the name The Selena Effect, an exhibit dedicated to her passion for not just music, but her clothing too.
So I reached out to her fashion designer and friend, Martin Gomez, and he allowed us for the first time to display items that she wore and helped to design. It was a great passion of hers to become, a fashion designer. She was very involved in that. So she worked, now we have to think back more than 30 years ago, before the advent of cell phones or digital design, she worked with a man that would sketch out her ideas. And so from those ideas, they would mock up different fabrics on paper, and then they would make the outfits.
According to Texas Lifestyle magazine, fans are now welcome to take a look into Selena's life at the Texas State University Alkek Library. The Selena Effect exhibit highlights how her life inspires new generations and serves as a lasting role model for the Mexican-American community and beyond.
We mentioned the first ever Spanish language broadcast of a game a couple weeks ago.
And that just happened again. Journalism professor Dino Kieki partnered with Professor Marcos Garcia Barrero for Moral Languages. You could hear them on KTSW radio yesterday evening when the Bobcats hosted Texas A&M Corpus Christi. The pair called the first Spanish broadcast last month, But unfortunately, the Bobcats lost this one 7-2. But outfielder Rashawn Galloway set a record. He now has more doubles in one season, leading with 22. That's more than any Bobcat ever.
We've touched on some Bobcat sports history this spring. The softball coach marking her 900th victory, the first ever Spanish language broadcast of a game here. Well, Tuesday we made history again, and this time it was our broadcast team up to bat. Bobcat updates Sebastian Longoria and Mason Lusk take a swing at this story.
This last Tuesday, Texas State University took on A&M Corpus Christi in a battle that was deeper than just the sport on the field.
With the broadcast coming up, do you find yourself to be nervous at all?
Yeah, actually pretty nervous. Feel a little bit less nervous. It's not totally live for absolutely everybody to see. That helps a lot. You know, when you're doing something for the first time, it is pretty nerve-wracking. Right, I've broadcasted before, but this has cameras in front of me. I've never done that before, so that part I'm most nervous about. And then, you know, rolling my own teleprompter, that is another challenge, right? There's just a lot to think about, what to say, where to look, you know, what to say to what person at the right time. Yeah, I'm super pumped to be able to get to do this, right? I was kind of handpicked to do the Spanish language stuff, and then in a way almost handpicked to do this pregame show as well. So super excited that anybody has enough confidence in me to be able to do something like this and just be able to perform a lot of high pressure moments when you're doing a Spanish broadcast for the first time, now the second, and then it went good enough that we could even do it a second time, and then doing a pregame show for the first time. So a lot of firsts, a lot of big risks being taken, which I love to see that. I love to see that Texas State is trying to expand what its media is doing, especially for the students. Not a lot of places you get opportunities to do stuff like this, and I think that was kind of what makes Texas State special, is the opportunities it provides the students.
That's all we have for this edition of Bobcat Update. Thanks for joining us.
Watch this space for more news by students for students, and we'll see you next time.